I'm going to show you how to make natural lavender soap from scratch using the cold process method. This recipe is simple, beginner friendly, and scented with pure lavender essential oil. What makes it extra special is the natural purple color created using alkanet root. Hi, I'm Tanya from Lovely Greens, and I share how to make natural soap from the comfort of your kitchen. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel and give it a thumbs up, so give it a like, and that way you'll get future ideas. Now let's jump to making handmade natural lavender soap. There are two groups of ingredients that you'll need for this soap recipe. First, you'll need light colored olive oil and dried alkanet root to make the infused oil. Once that's made, you'll also need coconut oil, shea butter, castor oil, lavender essential oil, lye, distilled water, and dried lavender flowers. This is a cold process soap recipe. It's chemistry, so you need to take precautions to protect your eyes and your skin. So definitely wear goggles. Even if you wear glasses, make sure that you're protected at the sides and in the front. Make sure you're wearing gloves. You can wear these nitrile types, latex gloves, or the rubber washing up gloves that you use for doing dishes. And also make sure that you wear clothing that protects your skin. And if you want more details on soap making safety, I've left a link down in the video text description. There's also the printable version of this lavender soap recipe down there as well. The first step is making the Alkanet-infused oil, and you need to do this well in advance. Put 2 tablespoons of dried alkanet root in a small glass jar. Then pour 275 grams of light colored or pumice olive oil over it. It's important not to use extra virgin since it will affect the final color. Seal and label the jar and put it in a dark cupboard for a month. Shake it every now and again, and during this time the oil will change from light yellow to a deep ruby red. To strain the infused oil, I've got a glass bowl just so that I can easily see what's at the bottom. I have a sieve. This one is stainless steel. You could use a different material if you wanted to. And I'm going to place that over the bowl. And then I've also got a little square of cheesecloth or muslin, and I'm just going to put that over the sieve. Now, if you do get little pieces of alkanet root in your oil and it makes its way into the soap, if it's really small, it's not a huge deal, but it can be scratchy and you might not want that look. So sieving it with that extra cloth is going to help. So I'm just going to pour this straight through. So again, this has infused in a cupboard for a month. It's a lovely red color, which you'll start to see now. And I'm just pouring it straight in. There's a bit of the alkanet root, which is still at the bottom of the jar here. I'm not going to pour that out. I'm just going to leave it in there. And in fact, I often reuse the alkanet. I'll put an extra little bit of alkanet on the top and then infuse it again. And that way I can get a little bit more color out of the same material for another batch. The first step is making the lye solution, and work in a really airy place by an open window is ideal. And what you'll do is just pour the sodium hydroxide into the distilled water and give it a stir. If there are any lye crystals in the other vessel, I tend to just pour the lye solution in and then pour it back. And that tends to get all of it out. Now this is going to be very hot. There's going to be steam, and we need to cool this to about 120 Fahrenheit. And so I'm going to set it here in this basin of water to cool. While the lye solution is cooling down, we need to melt these solid oils. And so onto the hob they go, and I'm just going to turn it on to about 3. And I've got my spatula here, and while it's melting, I am going to be breaking up all of these oils, increasing their surface area and encouraging them to melt a little bit quicker. There's only a couple of pieces of oil left in there that haven't completely melted, which means it's a good time to take this off the heat. Just stirring it together off the heat helps to melt those last pieces of solid oil, and that is completely melted. Now it's time to add the liquid oil. So we've got the castor oil here. I'm going to scrape it into the pan. In goes the Alkanet-infused oil as well. Beautiful red color. I'm just going to stir them all together right now and take a temperature. So it's 129. It needs to come down just a little bit. So I'm just going to carry on stirring this. It's cooled to just under 120, so it's about 116. And to be fair, the lye solution is just a little bit under that as well, at 114. And so it's time to mix them. The warmth of this recipe, so the 120, is just to encourage gelling, but mixing it at 110 is also great. So adding the lye solution, I'm just going to pour it through a sieve here. And also, it's always a good idea to pour on top of spatulas or even the immersion blender. It's not imperative, but it's a good technique, which I forgot to do actually when I added the liquid oils. Okay, so the lye solution is in, all of the oils are in, and now I'm just going to stir it together, and I'm going to get my immersion blender on the case. I've got my immersion blender ready, and putting it into such a small batch of soap can be tricky, but if you have a small pan like this one, it's a bit easier. I tend to tilt it, make sure it's submerged, and then tap it very lightly just to try to release any air bubbles that are inside the head. And it is just this technique of stirring while the immersion blender is off, then holding it down in the center and giving it a few pulses. And then stirring. Already the color of the batter is changing. It's kind of a dark, murky, purpley blue. And if you see this as well, don't stress out. This is what you should be seeing. And we're going to mix just to a light trace, which is when the soap batter starts thickening up. It'll be the consistency of warm custard. And then at that point, we'll carry on with the next step. The soap batter is now at a really nice light trace. And you can know this stage by the trail that the soap batter leaves on the surface if you just drizzle it. So it's just a very, very light trail. I hope you can see that in the video. So nice and fluid still, starting to thicken up. And this is a good time to add the essential oil. Now, essential oil is optional, but it's what gives this lavender soap the lavender scent. It's completely natural. It's volatile, floral oils that just smell incredible. And it's also a light colored oil, so it's not going to compete with the color of the alkanet. In fact, all of the oils in this recipe are light colored so that they don't interact and cause any additional color in the soap. I think that's pretty well stirred in, and I can feel it start to thicken. So it's time to pour this into the mold. This is the smallest loaf mold that I have. It is a silicone mold. It fits a 1 pound soap recipe perfectly. And it's perfect for this recipe because we want a nice block of soap in there that's going to stay warm for a long time and to help increase that color by gelling. So we've got this here, and I'm going to pour the soap batter in. It's now a medium trace. It's a really nice thickness to work with. We've got the soap in the mold now, and I'm just going to jiggle it a little bit, help it settle. And then I'm going to use the spatula and bring the edges back in. They're slightly more soap in here than it can contain, but it's thickening up nicely, and we'll just draw it back into the loaf. When the soap is thick enough, you can add all different types of texture into the top. And one of my go-tos is just a simple swirl. I use a wooden skewer and just make a nice subtle pattern in the top. I'm all about subtle. And then I'm also gonna start thinking about how I'm gonna cut this into bars because I want to decorate it with these lavender flowers. So I'm gonna take that one there. So that's the first bar. Just very lightly set it on the top. And then 4 more because we're gonna cut this into 5 bars. And that is finished. Now I want to encourage this to gel and increase that color and change it into purple. And so I'm gonna put this in the oven. I've preheated my oven to its lowest setting. And I'm just gonna put this in the middle, towards the back, close it up and turn it off, and it's gonna stay in here overnight. After turning the oven off and leaving the soap inside, I've taken it out, and that extra warmth and insulation from being in the oven has helped the soap to gel, and it is a gorgeous, very earthy purple color. And now I have this lovely block of soap, and I'm going to cut it so that there's a lavender stem on the top of each. And I'm going to use my single soap cutter here. As you are slicing your bars and having a look, you're going to see something that might concern you. And I'm going to show you here. If you look closely, you'll see that the purple color, the darker purple color, is different on the outside to the inside. And that is totally normal. And don't worry, over the next day or two, the inside will change to the color that's on the outside. And this happens with some natural colorants. It happens with some fragrances as well. And it is totally normal. Don't worry, it will become that darker, earthy purple. Once you've made this lavender soap recipe and you've cut it into bars, you need to cure it. And this is a process that needs some patience, but it's really, really important for the best soap possible. So what you need to do is find a place in your home that is out of direct sunlight, so it's nice and dim. It's out of the reach of children, out of the reach of pets, and you want to lay down some grease-proof paper to protect the surface underneath, and then space your bars out over it. And that will increase the airflow around each bar. And then you just leave the soap for 4 to 6 weeks. Now this recipe is quite high in olive oil, so closer to 6 weeks is going to be better for the cure. And then at the end of that time, you can start using and gifting and potentially even selling the soap. If you have any further questions about making this natural lavender soap recipe, go ahead and leave me a comment down below and I'll get back to you. And if you are interested in naturally coloring soap with infused oils, I have courses that will help you out. And I will again leave links to where you can find out more information down below. And those will take you through making soap with infused oils, much more information, much more detail, and also different plants as well. And lastly, if you are a big fan of lavender, I have a recipe that you can watch next, and it's how to make these. These are mini lotion bars, little tiny heart-shaped ones. They're called lotion dots. And they're super easy to make, and they are solid moisturizers. And I keep this on my desk. Whenever my hands need a little bit of moisture, I smush it up and rub it in, and they are just gorgeous. So I will see you in that next video. Also, make sure to give this video a thumbs up as well if you liked it. Thanks again, and see you in the next video.